Yeah. Hi, Chahira.
Hi, Butaina.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much.
So, today, before starting the conversation that we're going to have, I want us to start by drinking a tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, the tea that I'm bringing today is a rose tea because we're both Moroccans
Yes.
and rose is part of our culture. And I thought that would be the best plant that we can share together today because we're going to have a heart to heart an open heart conversation. And rose is a plant that suits the soul, so it blends perfectly with the conversations that we're going to have today. So I want us to share this moment by connecting and sharing our stories and dive in.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And before I start, I always make a prayer, which goes very well with the tea because it's the prayer of the Prophet Moses. So it's also a heart opener.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
اللهم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. It is the prayer he made before speaking to Firaun.
Okay.
To make sure that everything comes, from the heart and that the tongue is loose, so that everything we will share today will be helpful, at least for the people that are listening to us.
Amazing. So thank you and cheers.
Cheers. Bismillah.
Bismillah. So, I want to introduce you. As you know, the people who come to our podcast are people who inspired me in my journey of healing. And through I would say the past 2-3 years, you've been a pillar in my growth through spirituality and religion. I know a lot of people are still guessing what is happening with me because I've been very, very, I've been changing a lot of things in my life, and I think Islam and religion and spirituality have been a big, big, big part of this growth and change. And you've been someone who made me question certain things or read certain books or have certain questions that I never had the answer. So for me, for years, and I've been manifesting for us to be sitting here
Yes.
right now and sharing a lot of, things that I believe a lot of women in our culture and from our background that we're never able to, speak about or talk about because it's taboo. So I think that today is the best moment for us to talk about all these topics that will
Yeah.
flow, and then share from your perspective how things been happening or how things been in your life in the past years, how religion, how spirituality, how your practice has really, really transformed you as a woman. And today has a wife,
Yes.
and also has a daughter. So I want people to be able to be inspired the same way that you inspired me.
Thank you so much. And also, because this is a journey, right? We're especially in the healing world, people want like a quick fix, like some people message me like, how can I change right away, or do you help people with anxiety, or I have so much traumas, and after like a program with me, or going to the therapist or doing ayahuasca, or like people think that's it, the change is gonna be overnight. But we are just in the beginning. Like healing is something you do, it's the journey to self, which is your soul, the pure identity of your soul, the journey towards self-love. And you can't really journey fully in this road without having God.
Which I agree with you.
It's impossible.
Yeah. And I think that's why we're going to talk about it, that I'm very triggered about a lot of practices today because when I started my journey of healing, I was away from religion. I was away from Allah. I was away from God. I did a lot of practices. I traveled the world. I went to India multiple times to do yoga retreats, to do silent retreats, to do vipassana, to do all these things, trying to find the piece of the puzzle or like the piece that was missing from my heart. But I discovered in the past year that the only thing that I was not tapping into and that I was not doing, it was getting close to Allah. And I need to insist that God, Allah, is the creator of all creation. So he needs to be the essence and the main source of everything before we even start doing any practices.
Yeah.
And I want you to maybe guide us from what I'm.
Well, I can understand that the word Allah or God can be very triggering.
And scare people.
It scares people. It triggers people also because we come with a baggage of traumas, which is cultural, religion, and also the society we live in. For example, I'm born in the 90s, and I'm born in Canada, grew up here, went to school, and the mentality, the way society portrays religious belief as if it's something, backwards. Like we are so evolved to think that there's a God out there that's going to help us. I mean, I've seen that a lot in the early 2000s as well, when I was in high school and stuff, and even in university. But in the past few years, since COVID, since this big movement of everybody wanting to become more spiritual, want to heal, people are more aware of the person they are, and seeing that, the cycles they've been created is not, helping them in their life and what they want to build. People want God, or they call it universe, because they have the trauma with the God, they don't want to say God, or especially Allah, because Islam is associated with so many, there's propaganda all around Islam.
Yes.
And even us as Muslims, like maybe not me when I grew up, but I remembered, like I have a lot of friends, they have religious trauma from their family.
Yeah.
So parents that would give them religion, teach them religion, but in a very hard way and scary way.
And I agree with you, because a lot of people, when I talk about religion, and even now when I share on social media, they're triggered a lot, because it's like they're fearing that. They're fearing, they fear like the words Allah or God, or like when they see you covered, or I don't know, there's something that is triggered that, for example, I don't feel like when somebody is going to church or showing that they're going to to their messes on the Sundays.
Yeah.
People don't react the same way that they do with our religion.
Because our religion has been the tool used by dark forces, without saying more, because I want this podcast to be everywhere, but if you understand, you read between the lines, but it was used to show us as people that are submitted, like especially women,
which is
that
not
we have no education, that we are the only culture or religion that don't want to move forward with the new world order. And if like everything I say, it's my perspective, so I'm talking with my lens. You can agree or disagree with it. It's very, it's okay. But I believe that this war, the spiritual war we are living in, it's something that has been going on for years, even before we are born. Okay, and they have been able to remove people from the churches. They have been able to remove people from the synagogues. They have been able to put in the mind of the religious, I'm talking about Christians, for example, that Jesus died for their sins, so they can sin. So I remember, like, if you talk to a real Christian, they will tell you, for example, no, I cannot have sex before marriage. This is not part of the religion. However, you will see now, in video clips, or even, women or men that are very astray from the religion, with a cross, just as a symbol, as something fashionable. It's like, okay, Jesus died for my sins, so I can do whatever I want. That's the mentality. That's how they got. Some people follow their order, like the what we are seeing today, the mess that we are seeing in the world. However, Islam is the only religion that is still holding on. I mean,
it's the number one growing religion.
It is, even though we can see that people, like even Islam is getting more modern, and it's normal, we're changing, but it's a religion that's people, you pray 5 times a day, every single minute. In this world, there is a adhan, a call to prayer somewhere. And there is someone that will get up, stop the worldly thing, and connect to the 5D, connect to God.
Okay. About prayer, I want to talk about that, because this is something that changed my life. And for me, it's essential that we tap into this. I want to ask you how praying or how your practices that are related to Islam change your life, and what are the things that you see today that made you who you are, and how long did it take you to become who you like the woman that you are today?
I mean, I told you my story a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up really practicing, like young in a family. Like I told you, I'm born here, and then I was very interested in religion as a teenager, and I became very practicing, so very, very like to the book, and I learned a lot. So after in my 20s, I got like a rebellious, you know, like after living so many painful situation and hardship, I thought God didn't love me. I'm like, why Allah, why? I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything for you, but you're testing me. You're this, look, why my life is a mess, and et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of had the curiosity of, why can I not party? Why? Like, I want to see the outside. I was veiled. I was practicing everything, but then I went on the complete other side, and I needed to see it with my own eyes. So there's some people, subhanallah, you know, they are in the religion and they never change. They stay in the religion. They don't need, you know, some people never drink alcohol
because their
in their
iman
life.
is very strong.
Yeah, or they just fear that they want. You know,
Yeah.
that's not. I have a soul that is very curious.
Yeah.
I need to see. I need to learn from
to
my own
experience,
experience.
yeah.
Yes. And God brought me to experience the life, the cool life, the life that is, you know, that is, you know, portrayed and sold on social media, the freedom, women, why? No, I want to be free. I want to do everything I want, and, you know, be hyper masculine and hyper independent and experience. But I found that the difference is that when I was very practicing, I was not sad. It was hard.
Yeah.
The hardships were hard. The you know, like one thing after the other. And I didn't have the tools inside of me because I didn't heal myself as a person to deal with these situations. But I realized that in the other world, where it's like partying, alcohol, you know, that world, you know, sex, drugs, material world, people are not happy.
No, and I agree with you, because I would say that I was a person that never touched alcohol. I was a very, like, I would say an example daughter. I never wanted to go out in high school. I never went to parties. I didn't like that at all, because for me it was useless. I was really, really religious when I was younger. Then I went to university and I wanted to be like cool like everyone. And even then, the first, I would say 2 years, I didn't drink. I was like a loser. I hated myself. Like, I hated people around me. I used to have a boyfriend at that time that used to drink, and we would fight, you know, all the time. And then I started drinking, and I can tell you that I can state that from the day I started drinking, going out and being part of a certain activities that I was not, my life completely changed 360. And my life started coming back when I went back to who I was before. And that's why I say, like, you know, for me, it took a long, long time to go back to the source. And that's why I'm asking you, like, what are the practices? So now I want to ask you, what are the practices that you do that change your life? Like, it could be yoga, it could be like all the, you know, spiritual healing that exists right now. I know you explored, like me, we've done everything. We did yoga, we did ayahuasca, and maybe we can even talk quickly about ayahuasca after, because I know a lot of people are curious about this topic. But what are the things that made Chahira, that, you know, made you crazy, made you, you know, go to the dark side, that you know, had to face like a lot of shame, a lot of darkness, that you did, and that made who you are today? That's what I want people to hear, because this is what I know, and this is why I fell in love with you. Because whenever I was with you, or whenever I was seeing your stories, I could see myself in the other side, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this journey. There's other women, there's other sisters going through the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I want to help all these women today to, when they hear this conversation that we're sharing with open heart, to see that, you know, they're not alone, and there's a lot of things that they can try. And I want you to share.
First of all, let me go deeper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the practices, but let me just do like a small intro first. We don't understand how much God loves us, and how much it is through repentance, through asking him forgiveness, just connecting to him, that we really tap into self-love, and we really tap into worthiness.
Yep.
You will not feel worthy of this life if you're far from God.
I agree.
Why?
With you.
Because you will try to find anything to, seek validation or feel like a void that you have within. And I'm going to talk to all my brothers and sisters that are listening. People that prayed and stop, pray and stop. Me, okay? Pray, stop, pray, stop, pray, stop, pray, stop, pray, stop, pray, stop. When we stop, we forget how much the prayer helps us, how much it is actually like food for our soul. We completely forget. And the fact that, that we think, oh, I need to do 5 prayers and then the morning, and then, like some people, I met like a lot of people, and I was that person where I would do my wudu, like my cleanse, like to prepare to go to pray in the morning, and then I would go out and I forgot to pray. Then I would say, okay, I will pray, and then I come back home, and then because I have 5 prayers to do, I'm not going to do it, and the cycles continue until I just feel also like very anxious. I'm just very more mad when I don't pray.
Yeah.
So I want to tell everybody that my first practice is prayer, but start with 1.
Yeah, I agree with you. You start with 1, and then
okay, 5 is
morning,
prescribed.
the fajr and the
yeah, but 5 is prescribed.
Yes.
I'm not saying we should pray once.
Yeah.
Start with 1.
Yeah.
Just see how it makes you feel.
Yeah, it's true.
Just that okay, like I try to talk to this person, I try to do this, do that, blah, blah, but I still have this pain. Okay, just go back. Just why the prayer? Because it is I submit, not just submit, but it's like I trust.
I think it's the charger.
Surrender.
It's like it's the charger. Like for me, it's like I need to charge myself. And today, because I pray my 5 prayers, and for me, I cannot miss it. And for me, it's like I can't go out of my house if I don't have that ritual towards myself, or with myself. Because first, I think when you start praying, and this is the importance also that we need to mention, you need to pray with good intention, and you need to do it with love.
Yes.
Because when you start doing it with love, you have a different effects that it brings to you, and you will feel that something is missing out of your life when you go out and you're not praying. For example, when I have my period and I'm not able to do my prayers, I feel like there's something missing out of my heart.
Yes.
Who would have ever thought or believed that this can happen to me? And that's why, thank you for reminding that prayer. And but I know a lot of people might not understand praying because
but they're suffering also. Like, okay, again, we're both Moroccan, we have both Moroccan backgrounds, but this is for all like types of background
so
that have been taught the prayer in a very like go pray or fear. Allah will put you to hell, or did you pray? Like I've seen that, and even in my like family, close or far family, or my neighbors, I've saw like that they put fear in the kid to pray, and what happens is that the kid grows up with the unconscious belief that God is their father or their mother. It's like, oh, it's my father, it's my mother, and I'm gonna rebel against God. I don't want to pray. Why am I going to pray? Oh, God, anyways, is going to put me to hell. Anyways, I'm sinning, I'm doing that, so I don't care. And I've met a lot of people like that in their heart. They don't want to go to hell. We don't want to go to hell. We don't want to, live bad or, have. So it's important that to relearn as adults, when you do the healing, the internal work, and you start understanding who you are. You're not the body. This is not you. This is not me. You're not the mind, the voice. Your mind is 90%, like not 90, but like 70% of the voice of other people's belief that you think you are, and which is not you. You are the soul. And when you can connect to you, your soul will tell you, oh, I need to pray. Like I want to, not I need to, I want to.
I want to. And that's how I feel today. Yeah. For the practices that change you, first is prayer, but I wanted to, talk importantly that by prayer we don't mean like praying the Allah way. For people who are non-Muslim, they just need to find a certain way of prayer, which could be meditation or could be something else.
I don't consider prayer meditation as a prayer.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, probably for some people it is. It is for some people. Meditation is part of a practice that have changed me. And I feel it also when I don't meditate. I become more like like I have ADHD, so I become more like stressed or in my mind, and I go back in the mind, which I'm not. So like meditation brings me back to the heart, and meditation is really a way for me to like check on Chahira. It's like, okay, how are you?
So about this,
And yeah,
it's important because you said, that's the thing. A lot of people, when I say, oh, I pray, they're like, oh, I meditate. So for me, it's the same. I find it's not the same thing.
no, and I used to tell my clients.
Yeah.
So I like every client that wants to work with me, I tell them I do also in like I use spirituality, which is like important. It's the basis of everything, and also psychology. But I used to tell my clients who are not Muslims or just not Christians or any specific religion, like meditate. Like I was not meditating. I was telling them to meditate because I'm like, I pray, so meditate. And then I realized that I was like, since I pray, I don't need meditation. No, that was not true. It's two different practices. One is the surrender to God. It's your charge for the soul. One is to go back to your soul for you to remember who you are.
Perfect.
It is your conversation within yourself. So that's meditation for me. And also meditation can be also in a way of like just sitting in nature and look at the creation. And by looking at the creation, you connect to the creator also. So that could be like a sort of prayer, but it's not really a prayer. It's just like a reminder of something way bigger than us.
All right, so if I have to recap, what is essential for you? What practice made who you are today that are essential for your well-being, for your soul to recharge, for yourself to be present, to be who you are today, to be able to show up for the world, is prayer.
Prayer is the number one.
Okay, perfect. Now going back to the practices, what are other practices? I'm very curious to know, like, what are the things that you do on a daily basis? For example, me, practices, I would say istighfar is something for me that is a practice that I do.
What is istighfar? Can you explain to people who don't understand that?
Istighfar it's going to be funny because people won't understand, but for me, it's my way of asking for forgiveness to Allah for all this stuff or the sins that I've done to people or to myself or to everything around me.
Yes.
And it's also a way for me to connect and to show to Allah that I'm present, that I'm always present, and reminding myself that He's there. So now, funny enough, I used to listen to a lot of music. So now when I'm in my car going to any destination, I do my istighfar. And I have my sister laughs at me. I have my machine.
Yes.
And sometimes people are like, oh, are you running a marathon or doing? No, I'm doing my istighfar, and I try to do it 1,000 to 2,000 times a day. And I can guarantee you that since I've been doing this, my life changed in all ways possible. And it's a practice that I'd never even heard of or even knew about. My dad used to tell me when I was younger, whenever, قولي استغفر الله, do the istighfar, and I never understood, and I started doing my researches. And when I started doing it, I saw slowly all the anxiety, all the blockages, all the heaviness that I was feeling in my shoulder, in my head, in my chest, going day by day. And when I was doing my research, I started seeing that a lot of people had a life change while doing this. So for me, it's istighfar. Do you agree with this practice? Is it something that we've done?
I've done it. It's not something that I'm doing every day. I'm not going to yes, me too, I do it all the time. That's not true. It's something I try to remind myself to do. But dhikr in general, and dhikr is just like connecting to God in my daily life through His names and through and reminding myself, because it's very easy to get distracted and go into comparison or stress, anxiety, like you said, or just coming back to this world, you know, coming back. And that's what's happening is that people are very stressed and anxious and sad and all of that because they think they are the body. We live in a material world, and when we think we are material, we cut our connection. forget who we truly are, and therefore we try to find coping mechanisms: food, alcohol, sex, shopping, all of it, all of it, and just try to find things that will again fill the void. Now, istighfar, which is asking God forgiveness during your day, or dhikr, or calling God with His names. It's just a way for you to remember that there's always this connection. There's always His breath is in you. You are His breath. The soul is His breath.
Yeah, and for me, it's just a way of feeling His presence all the time and showing that He's always with me.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of my practices is, well, something that is very important that I want to share. Part of the practices is that when we go in the healing journey, okay, we take a coach, a therapist, whatever that is good for you, and or you do your inner work, you start praying, you know, all these things. Yes, we are the soul, but we should not forget that the body is your home. And if you don't take about your physical body, you're not taking care of yourself. It's kind of a lie. Yeah, I'm meditating, but I'm eating McDonald's.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's like your body is a temple. It's like it's
your temple.
It's the place where the soul lives.
Yeah.
And the more you will start taking care of your body, especially men and women, okay? Really, the more you start taking care of your body, the less you want anyone to have access to that body, whether it's physical or energetical.
I agree with you.
Why? Because you're the sum of the 5 people around you energetically, but you're also, your body will start becoming like those who you chilled with.
I agree with you.
So your body is alive. The cells, they hear you. You know, when you talk to people that are sick and they healed, what they say, I talk to my body. I believed.
That's true.
The body is there to serve you.
Yeah.
So how can I just focus on my soul? Okay, I'm going to pray, but my body, which is my responsibility from God, I'm not taking care of it. So that's another thing. I'm taking care of my body. Within my journey, the last 7 years, there's moments where I was just like, okay, I'm eating more sugar, because food is one of my coping mechanisms. And I feel that when I get disconnected from Allah, even though I pray, sometimes I can get disconnected because I start being in my mind and I start seeing things, or the problems, or this or that, trying to find solution. But it's to bring myself back that, no, okay, everything's going to be fine, and just trust. And I don't need any coping mechanism to feel better. I just need to focus on the small little actions every day that are making me feel better, and the accumulation of these actions.
So prayer, taking care of your body, eating healthy food.
Yes, moving your body. Affirmations. Talking to the water in the shower. I don't know if you do that.
I do. I usually remove like all the negative energy while doing my showers.
Yes. I talk to the water. People say, oh, she's crazy. No, water is alive. Because we're so not present in the world we live in, that I brought myself back in the shower. I look at the water and I'm like, Alhamdulillah, this water, thank you, water, for washing me. Thank you, Allah, for creating the water that can wash me.
Absolutely.
And just like, I feel
pure.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
So prayer, meditation, and taking care of your body are the 3 essential.
Yeah, and then some people are like, yeah, I try to journal, because it's not a one fit all.
Yeah.
Okay? The only one fit all is the prayer.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And then after, everyone can try different practices
and take, yes, exactly. Because the way I eat is probably not the best for everybody.
And
like,
I agree with that, because like, you know, for me, I'm really, really careful about what I eat, but I went through phases where, for example, I was super not eating meat, whatever, but now I'm like, no, it's I don't think it's what we eat, it's the way we eat. Like when you're more conscious and also present, the way you eat, the way you take time to process, you know, like even eating, some people don't even appreciate that moment when they're eating food. Everything is fast, everything is
that's how we were conditioned.
Yeah.
So because you're asking about my practices, I said like it's not like a one size fit all. Okay, some people journal, some people can't journal. I had periods where I could just write 10 pages, and periods where I was opening my journal and only writing Alhamdulillah. I had no inspiration. Now, something is very important. that if there's a message I want to share with the audience, is that healing has been commercialized so
Agreed.
freaking much.
There's so many coaches and
It's like I'm one, but I'm seeing the way it is commercialized, and you need to do the retreats, you need to go to all the retreats, and you need to do the yoga, and then you need to go to India, and you need to do ayahuasca and mushrooms, and you need to pray, but you need to do umrah as well, and you need to coach, because if you don't have a therapist, it's not good, and then you need to learn how to journal, and if you're not tapping into your creativity, you're not an artist, and if you're not an artist, that means I'm not connected to my womb. If I'm not connected to my womb, that means I'm not healed. Stop. Breathe. You don't need, because it takes, and then people are like overwhelmed. I don't have the money for that, and I need the money for that, and then it's just, honestly, you can heal in the smallest place, like your room, or in your car, or walking outside, or just small conversation between you and the Creator. Yes, all the other stuffs are amazing. They look good on Instagram. I host retreats, so I know how it helps women and men, and it helps us, even the one who facilitates the retreat,
of course, because
incredibly. But I want people to know that it starts within you. It's not, you don't need that retreat. You don't need to go 1 month in India. You don't need to do Umrah right now. It's going to be a calling when God wants you to go. You don't need to the only thing you need to do are free. Connect to your breathing. Breathing is it's what reminds you that you're alive. You are a breath of God. Your soul is breath. So why breath work is very good, because it brings you to the essential. But no, you don't need to go to a breath work practice or ceremony or whatever. You could just do it by your own.
True.
Connect to your breathing. Connect to the creation around you. Connect to yourself. Touch yourself. Connect, I was like in the car driving, and I'm dancing, and I'm just like, okay, dance not with the body, with the soul. Let the soul guide your body. That's the problem that we have usually, is like we want to control the body when we dance, but no, it's the soul that controls the body. So all these things are free. Prayer is free. Istighfar is free. All this, no matter where you are in the world.
It's funny because you say that, and as I told you, I spent so much money, traveled the world, and all that money didn't make me better. Going to what you just said, I want to ask you, because you said, what do you think about energy healing then? What are your thoughts about Reiki and about any type of energy healing that is out there? Do you believe it's really healing? Do you believe in it? I want to have this conversation because I was a Reiki master and I practiced for so long, but it took me to a very dark place. So I would love to hear your feedback, and maybe we can discuss to see if we feel the same way about it.
Probably you were practicing Reiki, not praying and not protecting yourself from whoever calls you and need service from you. Now, I'm not going to say I think this is anything that has to do with energies. You need to be careful. Okay, so
thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
You need to be careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you just need to be careful. And even ayahuasca, we are two people that did ayahuasca. We have two complete different experience. One is positive, one is negative.
Mine is terrible.
We can say it may be negative because you had to go through that.
Yeah.
But any energy work, you're playing with the other side.
Yes.
Now, in Islam, for example, if I go back to the traditions, in Islam, and even in Christianity, there's exorcism. You can go and ask, for example, the Imam to read the Quran on you. But our Prophet ﷺ said the best of you is the one who does it on himself.
Yeah.
Not that, don't go get help. No, because you are in charge of your own energy. It's the battle that you're going through. If you have an entity that is blocking you, it won't block you forever if you fight it with prayer, istighfar, and remember that you are stronger than that. So any type of energy work, I mean, and even energies, there's good ones, there's darker one. It's not all bad, and energy is not like we're jinn. It's not, they're not all scary and stuff, but it's just for me, it's like I prefer the only energy I like to connect with. It's my soul, and through my soul connect to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala who created my soul, and also like the angels. You know, like we have angels protecting us, but I don't work in that, and I've never done Reiki. I wanted to do it just to clean, like for example, I believe in the 7 chakras.
Yeah.
I believe in the centers of energy that we have and how it flows and all, and I know Reiki has helped a lot of people. So I can't really judge something I haven't practiced, but it's not part of the practices that I'm doing.
So for this, I just want to say that people should try, but they need to be careful who they do it with. When I say that I had the darker side, it's not me practicing with my clients. I had very good experiences. I was actually, this is when I discovered that I was gifted when I did it, but it's when I did it with other people that were doing it into me, and the people that do energy healing. And it's like for me, like saying mantras. When you go to women's circles, sometimes they ask you to chant some certain like languages or mantras that you don't even know what you're chanting. So you're calling things. You're calling energies, or you're calling stuff that you don't even know what it is. And this is what scares me. It's like when you're just new in this world, you go and you just want to try everything. So every healer that pretends to be a healer, that needs healing himself or herself, is like trying to help you. They tell you have to do this and pray that, and then you get into these things, and then your life become even worse than when you started. So this is why I ask you this, because I think that people need to be very, very careful about any type of healing, and especially when it comes to energy, because I think they can tap into certain things
why they go there again. We're going to go back to the beginning of what we said, because people are traumatized and they don't like the word God or Allah. So even in the spiritual world, what happens? Even in the spiritual world, you will see connect to like, oh, I need my spirit guides, and I want the spirits of my ancestors and the spirits of that, but like above all of that.
And we always seek other things. We always going to go to the healer, to the, I don't know who, instead of going back to the source. But
again, it's like that whisper, okay, I call it like the whisper, the voice that is trying to make you believe that you're doing I'm healing, I'm in the good, like it's trying to push you away from the essentials. People will spend years connecting to their spirit guides. We call it the qarin in Islam. It's not, we have it all. And it's not really something you want to connect to, but some people for XYZ, they do connect with their spirit guides, or they will try to connect with dead people or their ancestors and all. But they do not take 5 minutes per day to just pray. To just pray.
Ground. Surrender.
So it's like, yes, we want answers, and Allah will give us the answers. God will show us whatever you're seeking, you will find it. But connect to the right energy, which is the source, which is God, which is the creator.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's like an irony when you pray God and then you pray Mother Nature, for example, or you pray God and you pray the water, like, or you pray God and then you pray the spirits or the sun. These are like they don't fit together, but Mother Nature, her purpose, she has Allah created the nature with so many like treasures. One of it is to contain the cures for all of our diseases. All the plants,
herbs.
All the herbs.
The herbs.
Yes,
that's why the tea, it's healing from nature, of course.
The water that's in nature, the water cleanses without water. We're 70% water.
The elements, everything that is around us.
Exactly. So it's very important to connect to these elements,
Absolutely.
to understand their power they have.
Of course.
But their power they have comes from the ultimate power. That is God.
And this is where I'm very triggered, and I'm going to say it honestly. When people tell me, oh, like you have to connect to, I connect to the universe, but we need again to say that who created the universe? He's the creator of all creations. So why are you going to pray something when you are not connecting to the source of all the creations. So this is where I'm a little bit triggered, especially now. I used to believe in a lot of things, and I think since I've been very connected to God, I would say I changed. But for me, there's a big disconnect, and this is where, like in the healing world, there's a lot of missing pieces that now for me don't make sense. And when I look back at all the practices that I've done, a lot of them don't make sense to me, and I was not content at that time. I thought I was actually lying to myself. I was lying to pretend, oh, I'm okay, I found the happiness, but it was all bullshit.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I do believe that every single practice carries wisdom.
Of course.
And carries something.
A message.
A message, and carries something you can add into your routine.
Of course.
That will make, I mean, keep you more aligned or better. For example, yoga helps me. And it was a debate because a lot of people think yoga is shirk, you know, associating to God, or the positions, this now. And even I remember I was not saying namaste because it was like, no, you bow to the God or something like that, and I'm like, no, we cannot bow only to Allah. And then until I've done the yoga certification, I've been realizing in yoga history and even in the religion, because it's important I love to learn from others as well, that, for example, namaste is really like, it's like at the end of the practice, the teacher wants to humble himself or herself in front of the students, because sometimes we see the teacher as the God, you know, or like that person. So to humble herself or himself, you say namaste, like I recognize the light within you, which is also within me, you know, and like it's just a way to humble themselves. And for me, yoga is like how I take care of my body, but I do realize that when you do yoga, like you release emotions that have been stuck in the body.
Absolutely.
Why? Because now I'm going to go deep. The soul lives in the body, right? So it lives there. How it communicates? How does your soul communicate to your body? Like if I communicate with you right now, we're speaking in English, right? We can speak Arabic or French. That's the three languages we talk together. Or sometimes we can, you know, just with the eyes.
Yes.
The body and the soul, they communicate through emotions. So the soul will feel, and that feeling, the body was created to protect you. It's your home. The body will be like, oh, goes to the mind, and what do I do with this emotion? What did she taught me to do with that emotion? And if the emotion is not processed, lived, therefore released, and it was proven scientifically that an emotion stays not more than 7 minutes in the body. Yeah. It gets stuck, and stuck, and stuck, and stuck, and stuck, and stuck, and stuck. And then what? I'm sick, I have this pain here, I have a pain here, I can't speak my truth. Chronic diseases, for example, asthma. Asthma is a chronic disease that has to do, and I'm talking about myself because I realized it within this in 2024, that it was like grief that was not processed in my lungs since I was a child. So emotions need to flow in the body, and yoga helps me. Sometimes during yin yoga, I cry.
Yeah, because you're their energy, and I think not only in yoga, and even sometimes when I do reformer, like a lot of people go and they move their body, and especially when it's around the hips, they start crying and they don't understand. It's because there's a lot of blockages in those areas, in the womb area, especially for women.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, you know, we talked about a lot about practices and everything. I want to talk about something that we both did, and we experienced it in two different ways. And I know a lot of sisters asked me to share a little bit. I'm not going to dive deep in it because I think it's a very personal experience, and I don't want to share it fully on social media. But how was your experience with ayahuasca?
Oh, ayahuasca, you want to talk about that?
Yes.
I've done it twice, and the 2 times...
Oh, twice?
Twice, yeah.
Okay.
And the 2 times, it was 2 different, completely different experiment. For me, it was life-changing. And I mean, the last one I've done, it was this year, in in June, sorry. And like, it took, 5 months later for me to actually understand the message, the deep message that that came out of that experience. You know, I mean, I received many messages during that experience, but it was very deep. And I'm like, oh my God, that was my whole experience about, you know. But like the energy work that we were talking earlier, it is important to be safe in the environment you're doing it, safe energetically, I mean, and doing it with people that you can trust. And the thing is that you can ask, okay, but how can I'm going to find the right person? Can you share where you've done it, you know, or where can I find the right person? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what the one woman I've met in Mexico told me when I told her I want to do ayahuasca. She said it's going to come to you.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's meant to be,
I agree.
It's going to come to you. But for you to start searching and looking for which retreat is better, pay 6,000 or like more US or 10,000 for these things, it's nonsense. Okay?
Because it's commercialized now, so people just want to do it, but they don't really know what's the intent and the purpose of really doing it.
So for me, it was a very great experience, eye-opening, transformation, understanding layers and layers and layers of who I am, connecting me even more to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cleansing me from, for example, sihr, you know, magic, that I've been kind of ignoring or didn't even think that I had inside of my body. Cleansing me from, I remember like in June, I was, when I started feeling it, I was yawning so much. And while I was yawning, I was looking at my Instagram, and I felt like this is like I'm yawning all the eyes that were on me, like the
evil eye.
The evil eye, because again, we're exposing ourselves. So yes, I mean, I'm not doing it because I want to be the most famous person in the world, and I'm not doing it because I'm sharing my body. Like, people need to understand what we are doing, the work we're doing, the time we're taking from our lives to sit down and share the knowledge and experiences that we have is to help, because we want in our heart that women and men feel better in this dark world. You know, that people, like, you remember the pain you've been through the last 5 years?
Yeah, so much.
And the pain I've been through in the past years too?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing this because we found things that are making us feeling so much better, and we want to share because we want people to be better. That's what we're doing. That's our purpose. So that's my experience with ayahuasca. It's very personal as well, very deep. I've talked about it in my podcast if people want to know more about
it.
But what about you? Because you've shared with me. If you don't want to go in details, it's fine.
Yeah.
But there's a not a common denominator, which there's something that separates your experience from my experience, that I've went with prayer and protection.
I didn't. So to start, like, my spiritual awakening happened when I did ayahuasca. So before that, I never.
How you went to that? What brought you to do it?
Because I've been on a healing journey for so many years, and I don't know, I was called to it. I was really called to it, and when I did it, I was not ready. And that's why I say, like, you need to be prepared mentally to do it. And the problem is, like, people don't do research. I didn't even know that you need to prepare your body before doing all these things. I just went I'm going like to do mushrooms or any other.
And where did you do it?
I don't want to enter into details. I want to stay but when I did it, it was 2019. I was going through a huge shift in my life. Everything was going dark, and I did ayahuasca when I was going through a dark moment. It was life-changing for me in the sense that it opened my eyes to spirituality. This is when I started thinking of praying, because after my experience, because my experience was very traumatic, I felt like my soul came out of my body, and I didn't go back to myself for at least 6 months. So I have videos that I can show you where my eyes are not, you can't recognize me.
Yes.
And people, when I went back home, when they were around me, they could feel something was wrong with me, and I didn't know about that. I didn't even understand. But people that know me would have a certain energy and tell me, Bettina, your eyes, like there's something in your eyes. And it took me 6 months, honestly. When I went back home, I started doing a little bit of weird things. Not when I say it's just my daily life was not the same. And I had to go home. I felt like I needed to be with my mother. I need to be back home in my home. So I went to Morocco. And before going to Morocco, I went to Amsterdam to see one of my best friends, and we were supposed to spend 3 weeks together and go from Amsterdam to the south of France, but the trip didn't finish because my friend couldn't be around me. He literally called my mom. He's like, Butena, there's something with Boo Boo. Like, she needs to go to Morocco. So my mom is like, okay, send her to me. I went. When I went to Morocco, I started feeling that it's like when I remember when I landed and I saw my mother, my body decomposed. I started crying. It's like I was releasing stuff that I was holding inside of me, but I didn't know. So I think when I did my experience to ayahuasca, because we are opening ourselves to energies, and that's why I say I'm very careful and I don't do any practices anymore. We call or we are around certain things because we open our, energy field for that. And I think I was not in the right setting and I was not in the right environment to do it. So it went to the other side. It took me 3 years to go back to myself. 3 years. And even sometimes, that's why I have a very conflictual relationship with alcohol, and I cannot drink because my life with alcohol started becoming very dark after my ayahuasca experience, because I think my soul didn't want it anymore. My soul didn't want anything that could affect my energy. So whenever I would drink alcohol, it would trigger something inside of my body. My soul couldn't take it.
Well, it's not that it triggers something inside of your body, it's that your soul becomes a portal for other energies.
Exactly.
And if your soul was already vulnerable to those energies, it just triggers that energy to come back to the surface.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after doing all the cleanse for years and everything, praying is what made me back to who I am. And that's why for me, I'm not going to do it again. I'm never going to try any other, healing way, because that path is not for me. It's for others, and some people love it, but people need to also speak that it doesn't work for everyone. Like not everyone go to have ayahuasca and they come back and they're like, yes, it changed me, because without that experience, I would not be praying today. I would not be close to my beliefs. I started practicing and doing all my practices because I was going to the other side of the world, and the darkness started coming and all the crazy shit started happening. And that's why for me, also alcohol is a portal to that world, and I don't want and no longer want to have it in my life.
Absolutely. For example, in my case, I would love to do it again. I would love to do it again, but not necessarily. It's not like I have to do it. Like I told my husband, like, I want to do it with you. We need to go and do it together, because I've seen how it transformed me. It transformed my friends also. But it's like it brings you to for me, the lesson of ayahuasca, if I can share that, we all go through different lessons.
Yes.
Okay? We see different things and we experience different things with what we carry.
Yes.
But if there's one common thing, is that it brings you in a dark place to show you the light after. And that is the best lesson of life, is that no matter how dark it looks like, remember the light will come.
Yeah, eventually.
And since I have done ayahuasca first time and I remembered my experience, during my second time I was puking and coughing and crying and puking, and for 5 hours I was the person who suffered the most in the circle. But what kept me going is, of course, I was like saying Alhamdulillah, Allah, can just help me, Allah, even if I felt energies that are, I was reciting Quran, going back, sleeping like on my back and laying down. But what made me, kept me going is that there's going to be the fire after, there's going to be the music, there's going to be light, and everything is going to be okay, Chahira, and you're going to come out of this so strong and courageous and better. And I think that's the lesson of life. Yeah. So whenever I go into a dark phase right now, that's what I remind myself, like, it's fine.
Yeah, and that's why I'd say it's a dark experience for me, but there's a lot of light that came after this. Yeah. So this is where I am today, and I'm grateful for any experiences.
It's not just, it's not for you, and you don't have to.
But I recommend people to do their research and,
of course,
not jump into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk also about relationships, because it's a topic that we've been, talking about so many years. About love relationships, about friendships, about energies that you need to allow around you. What can you share? What are the things that you can share today with us?
Your relationship will always be a reflection of how much you love yourself. Your relationship will always show you how much you accept yourself.
I agree with you. Even if it's hard to believe, or you know.
Okay, but how do you mean? Okay, yeah. Well, 2024. I mean, for years I've been cleaning out. Okay, and by itself, it would clean, or I would cut people, or people would cut me off. You know, no problem. But I found that my biggest take on this year is that it's been a year where I really faced my shadows, and I've been like, Chahira, I sat with myself, and I'm like, I saw the little girl in me again, the girl that, like, how was my relationship with my friends when I was a child, and you know, the intimidation I went through, or just how I was with, you know, I had different kinds of friends, and I always felt different. I didn't fit in circles of people, blah blah blah. And then I realized it's that I sat with that little girl inside of me, and I'm like, listen, I love you in your light and in your dark. And what I mean by the dark is that I love myself even when I lose control.
Yes.
Even when I'm too much. Even when I can't handle my emotions.
Yes.
Even because I can become like a tornado sometimes. Like, oh my God. And then, you know, because I am very sensitive. I feel emotions. I feel people. I absorb a lot. I work in that field. You know, I do work with energies in a way too. But after that, sometimes it's like I'm tired, or sometimes I get triggered. And for me, all these doors, like, okay, it's fine, Chahira, when you are in your dark, okay, well, you're gonna come out 10 times more better, because that dark is there to teach you something. You chose the path of healing. You chose the path of becoming better. So for me, I do not accept people in my circle today that I will feel like I need to walk on eggshells.
Yeah, you cannot fully be yourself.
Yeah, or I am myself, but just a good self.
Yeah,
you know?
And this is why I say, like, friends who just want you. Like, I had a lot of friends when I was going through my dark, when I was, you know, showing certain sides, that would completely switch on me, or start talking behind my back. And this is when I realized that, you know, if people don't appreciate you in your worst, why are they even in your life? Or if your boyfriend or a partnership or whatever leave you at the moment you start going through something, what's the purpose of that relationship?
Yeah, but I mean, because you leave yourself. I mean, the purpose is like the relationships you are in are there to teach you how you are with yourself.
No, but if someone leaves you when you need them the most,
when
it's their loss.
Yes,
that's what
their
I
loss,
say. Yeah.
Of course, but that was not the person, and
Yeah.
they had to come and they had to leave you for you to teach you that actually you are not abandoned, because there's Allah, there's God, there's always God. You know, there's like, every time you feel alone, or like, this is something very deep that I want to share also. It's like, I've been through a dark moment, okay, not long ago. And when I say, like, it's just like a dark journey of the soul, you know, when the soul needs to learn some stuff. And it was about relationship. I had to cut some people that are in my life that had no business doing in my life today.
Yeah.
They were part of my old life, and they're so focused on the material world. And I felt like, oh, it was bringing an old version of myself that is not there anymore. No matter what happened, there was a feeling I felt that is very common and very familiar. The feeling that I want to die. I heard the voice in my head.
Really?
I heard the feeling. I heard it. I'm just like, I want to die. And I'm saying it really like I want to tear up right now. And I couldn't cry even, and I was just like, you know, just blocked here. And I'm like, the only thing that will make me feel good right now is to die.
Why?
And it happened many times in my life before, where I was like, alhamdulillah, because I believe in God. I know I cannot take my life away, but I felt it. And then the lesson came. Yes, you want to die. There is a version of you that's no longer welcome in your life, Chahira. Why are you giving her so much space?
Yeah, I agree.
There is a grief of an old self of you
Yeah.
that needs to leave, because otherwise she will always come and destroy you and what you're building, the way she did right now, and the way she did 2 years ago, and the way she did 5 years ago, and the way she did 10 years ago when she started manifesting. So yes, it is a grieving ceremony of that version. So a lot of people that are not aware, when they hear I want to die, the feeling they think is the physical body. So they harm themselves. But literally, when you hear that I want to die, it is a call from your soul that is saying this version is no longer welcome for your own purpose, for where you want to go. And that's something I want to share. And it's not, we should not say that it's taboo. You know, people, unfortunately, and a lot of people act upon it physically.
Yeah.
But it's not a physical death. It's like the phoenix. That's why I love the phoenix. It's like the death of a version, so another one can reborn even stronger, better, and more have more purpose and more, you know, gifts or whatever. So
I've never seen it this way.
yeah,
Never thought about it this way. It's very interesting to see it from this perspective. And wow, I need to sit on this and think about it, because it's a lot to process.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, because it's how many time you felt guilty to feel even the feeling that you want to die,
Yeah.
or even share about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's because of the culture and the,
Yeah,
you know.
but not culture, Moroccan, Arabic, Muslim, but also societies.
Yeah.
Suicide has been something, you know, very scary. However, it's happening all
Yeah.
the time. But it's not. Again, when you have the eyes and the lens and you see the depth that you are not the body, you are the soul, and this message comes from your soul. Yes, it's a death of my soul. There's a version that is no more welcome, and it can change you and transform you in ways you can't even.
Yeah, when you
imagine.
realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to bring that to relationship is like for why would you spend money, time, to heal, to find yourself, to understand who you are? Because you know, when we say, oh, I go back to myself, but who we are, who am I? Okay, understanding the layers of who you are, just so that, but you're not capable, and you want to keep, I mean, friends.
The garbage around, yeah.
I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
Garbage or not, it's just like there's no more, it's not an alignment. Anyone in your life that make you think that you owe them something, that make you think that you are too much, that make you think twice before saying something, oh, maybe she's gonna, or friends that cannot even give you a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
So all of that brings me back to talk about relationships, that the most important relationship you build is with yourself, then with God. Through that, you can build healthy relationships around you. Now, a lot of people in the healing world, they start, even my clients, I have so many clients are like, yeah, well, since I start healing, I have no friends. I'm not talking to anyone. I cut everybody.
Me,
I
I'm
feel
very.
so alone.
I'm a very. Can I tell you that today, I have maybe 2 friends. Like my phone, don't ring that much, and I'm the happiest.
Yes, because we don't need. The thing is, like, it's again, people are gonna think that I'm a bit. I mean, it's quality over quantity.
Absolutely, I
Okay?
agree with you.
And it's
Yeah.
like the best. I saw a video on TikTok, and I even posted on my story. It was like a girl saying, it's crazy how many friends I had when I was the worst version of myself.
Yeah, it's true, and I think also it's important that when you start healing or doing the work, that you, like we were talking, our body is our temple, our space is sacred, your time is sacred. It should be, people should be privileged to be around you. You cannot give access to everyone to be around you.
No, I'm gonna say what Dave Penna, which is, he has nothing to do with the healing world. Okay, he's like a multi-millionaire old man, super like masculine, and I used to listen to him when I was like starting like in 2018, reading books, and I was very like in my masculine, very entrepreneur. But one thing he said that literally changed my life, that I haven't applied from 2018 to 2024, but I do apply, is that he said, take a paper, okay? I'll tell you to do the exact same thing.
Oh, I know who it is.
Okay?
Yes,
Take a
yes,
paper.
I've done it. Yeah.
And write all the people you texted, called, Instagram, TikToked, snapped, Twitter, okay? All the people you've met, and on the other side of the paper, write all your goals, and see who of these people is bringing you close to your goal.
I've done this exercise.
And he's like, you're gonna be, shocked. This video is like, and then he's like, you want to know why you're all fucked up? It's because of the people. Yeah, well, it's true.
No, it's definitely
Okay,
true.
it's like who of the people you're giving time to, where you're exchanging energy, okay, with, is bringing you close to your purpose. And your purpose is just like being you, you know, like people think, oh, what is my purpose? They're healing. What is my purpose? Well, I'm not an artist, I'm not a coach, or what is my purpose? I'm not an author. No, your purpose is being you.
Just be authentic.
Be authentic.
Your authentic
Be the
self.
light.
Yeah.
Be the light. One of the dua, one of the prayer I've been always asking Allah is, Ya Rabbi, Ya Allah, make me your light.
That's what I say every morning.
Make me your light.
Same.
And anywhere I go, just like...
I'm so emotional because I say the same. Yeah, I told you, we're very similar, you and I.
Yeah.
You are.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, since we're talking about dua, a lot of people would say like, oh, we have dua, they have manifesting.
Yes. And you know what? I never even thought about that. And let's go back to this. Dua, manifestation. Gratitude, alhamdulillah, which we need to do every time.
Yeah.
5 times a day after prayer, we have to say 33 times alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And me when
Thank me, I will give you more.
Yeah.
That's what Allah
Yeah,
said.
remember me, I'll remember you.
Yeah.
So we have to be thankful and
Yes.
grateful.
Yeah.
So we go back to the essential practices. And I've been doing this for years, gratitude and everything. But I didn't know that when I started doing the Muslim practice, that it's exactly the same.
Listen, we all have, that's why they say your fate is yours. We all have a relationship that is unique to us with Allah.
Absolutely.
Like the relationship I have with you is not the same that I have with my other friend.
Absolutely.
You know, even in a circle, you have 4 friends. You love them all.
But you don't
Your
love
kids, as a mother, you have, my mom's like, I have 4 kids. It's like the fingers. They're not all the same, but you love them all. So why am I saying that? It's because we all have a different relationship with Allah. And through that relationship, you know what's good for you and you know how to contact God. You know, for example, I've been manifesting my husband for a year now. I mean, for years I've been like, oh, I want my husband.
It's funny because we talked a few months ago and you were not even married.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not even thinking that I was like, he was right there, you know. And I've been manifesting him for a year. Well, before I was asking Allah for a husband, but I wasn't ready. I was still opening my field to dating, or maybe, you know, like this, or thinking I want someone in particular. But I was very, very focused for 1 year. Very clean, cleared my energy, no dating, no masculine around me, nothing. And every time I felt like I was seeing my friends date or talk to guys, and I felt like, am I missing on something? Because sometimes I felt like I was missing or not doing the cause. But I was always saying, no, Allah will bring him to me.
Absolutely.
I'm not have to do nothing. And within that manifesting, I was talking to Allah, and I was asking Allah to show me a sign. So I'm not going to tell my whole story here. I'll let it for another podcast. But Allah says in the Quran, there is signs for those who are intelligent. So ask Him anything, any sign you want, and He will communicate with you through the signs. And not only you will remember that Allah is the greatest, like with istighfar or with, you know, but sometimes you're like, oh, you know, sometimes I was just tired, or, you know, walking, taking the metro, and all of a sudden I would look, and boom, my sign, it was that, and then I was like, oh, my husband is coming soon, you know. It was just for me, and it actually happened. And at the moment I've asked Allah for my sign, like to show it, He showed it to me. Few minutes later, my husband got in contact with me. So manifesting is believing that what you want exists. The condition, when you go in tafsir of the hadith of how you make dua, you need to believe that Allah did the dua, that He can do anything you want. You cannot be like, oh Allah, please do that for me. You come from an emotion of lack and of not trusting, or are you really sure? Am I deserving? Well, that's what's making your prayer, taking your prayer much time to be answered. But when you come with a full heart, with like the smile, oh, thank you Allah so much, thank you. You know me, I was talking and I was smiling. I'm like,
Yeah, you already embodying
Yes.
what
Yes,
you're asking for.
absolutely. That's how it is, and that's how it's supposed to be. And if you call it manifesting, or if you call it dua, whatever you want to call it, do it.
Yes, practice it.
Practice it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think dua is also something that is life-changing when you do it with good intention and when you believe it.
Can you share a bit? I want to ask you a question now.
Yes.
Okay, because you've been asking me.
Yes,
I
yes.
want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And we can probably end with that if you want.
Yeah.
Can you share your experience with tahajjud
Oh my God.
and explain what is tahajjud? And
Yeah.
also, I loved what you shared with me yesterday, like the whole way you approached prayer, like the whole,
Yeah.
you know, all the stuff
Yeah.
you told me. I want people to hear that because
Okay.
it's beautiful.
So tahajjud, okay, I started praying really for, I would say, 3 years, like very, like
Consistently.
consistently. I used to do one prayer and one or two, but consistently now I do them on time, which I'm
Okay.
very proud of because
Yes.
this shows the love that I have for me. This is like my battery, everything. But tahajjud started when I have problems sleeping. Like I have really, really hard problems sleeping, and I was going through a very hard time in my life after like a breakup that really hurt me, and I don't know, I was waking up all the time up at that time, and when I woke up I was crying and I needed to pray. So I was like, you know what not right or pray to someone, like to Allah, so he can. So I started doing it, not even thinking about it, and then through research or something, one day I saw a video saying that tahajjud is a call from Allah, and it's only by invitation. Not everyone can wake
Just-
up at
yeah.
3 a.m. and do it.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's a sign. And I automatically started waking up at that time, consistently for a year.
Doing it every day.
Every single day. And during summertime was the hardest because your Isha is at 11
yeah.
and then your tahajjud has to happen but at 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then your Fajr is
Fajr
at
right
4.
away,
So I
yeah.
was like lacking sleep. But it happened. And I can tell you that is life-changing because everything that I have on my paper that is upstairs in my room that I wrote on my tahajjud is happening. Everything is there, and it's just, I pour my heart. This is when I realized that instead of running to cry at my friends, I should talk to my creator. He's the only one who will forgive me anything.
Yeah.
So I started practicing this and asking him to be, to take me to the right path and to give me in my life what he loves and remove everything from my life that he doesn't love.
Yeah.
That's why today all the people that don't need to be around me are gone.
Yeah.
I don't even cry for them. I'm the happiest. And that's why I say, like, we need to search. Sometimes you need to do the practices that works for
Yes.
you. And tahajjud in my family, some people didn't even know what it is. I didn't even know what it is until I started practicing, and this is why I talk so much about it, because it changed my life. Today, at the time that I used to wake up, the time that I used to come from party is the time where I
Wake up
awaken
now and
to
pray.
pray. And that time at night when everybody is sleeping, all the energies are like away. You're here, and I feel that special energy with.
It is also proven in meditation. Like Dr. Joe
crazy.
Dispenza talks
Yeah.
about it. Like the time
Yeah.
before the sun rises, your
It's-
pineal gland
yeah.
gets activated.
Yes.
And when you meditate or when you want to manifesting, is the best time.
Yes.
And we have it.
And I tell you, like,
also
I
in
feel that
Islam.
energy. It's quiet, and when
Yeah.
I wake up for that, for me it's a ceremony. I wake up and I
Yeah.
get ready, and that's why for me prayer is like a ceremony. I go, I get ready, I perfume myself. I always imagine Allah looking at me praying. Like when we're stressed, and it's funny, people stress and are on time to go to work so their boss don't yell at them.
Yes.
But we cannot wake up to pray for the person who put you into this earth.
And give you that job.
Exactly, but you wake up and you're like on your phone. So for me, if I have 5 minutes to scroll, I have 5 minutes to pray.
pray.
And since I discovered tahajjud, I ask Allah to make me consistent with my prayers. I wake up every single day without even having a ring. And I wake up, I do my tahajjud, I read a bit of Quran, I meditate, and then I read my dhikr, and then I do my Fajr prayer. And then after I go to the gym, or after I do anything. And I cannot
Amazing.
not start my day like this, and I will never. And now I'm like, I imagine if I have a baby, when I will wake them up in the morning, I will do the dhikr with them.
Yes.
For me, it's essential. I'll sing it with them. Or I don't know. I'll find a way to bring that. And I wish that I had that prior in my life, because I'm like, how in life I didn't do. And now my dhikr, if I don't have time to do them here while I drive, I told you, I will find 20 minutes on my way wherever I'm going. I put the Quran and I read it as I go. Everything shifted. There's no magic in life. You do the right thing, everything will unfold the way it should be.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And making this happen.
And I'm sure we're going to have more.
Oh,
coming.
We will.
Yes.
I mean, we just tapped into like
multiple
things that could be just a podcast of their own.
Yes.
But I want to say that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
That you are beautiful.
Thank you.
And that you also inspire me.
Thank you.
To, you know, just show up more and, you know, like to do tahajjud more often.
Yes.
I'm going to do that,
yes.
inshallah.
We're going to do it and together. And just so I wanted to say thank you, because you live in France. So for me, it was the right time to catch you. And I'll come to Paris, inshallah, and we'll shoot something else.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chahira.
Thank you so much.